And there is, again, a very, very interested group from Westbrook Racing. Lucas Ordonez looking to see what Sarah Price is going to be able to do. We are 20 seconds away from the start. Sarah, the first one to start to pick up the pace. And I'll tell you what, they are all a long ways away here from the start buoys. This is going to be interesting, and we have a red flag. A red flag has come out. That means the start has been aborted at this stage, and not exactly sure why, although it looked like one of the race birds may have not been turned. So we're going to have to wait and see exactly what the reason is for this red flag. But I'll tell you, the one who's going to be bummed about this most of all is going to be Sarah Price, because she had that time to perfection. But Team Checo is the boat that has paused out there. Vicky Piria. There is Danny Close, her co-driver, a Formula One driver. He still does test driving for Formula One teams, and a development driver for Renault. And he is obviously concerned about what may be going on there for Team Checo. But since that boat never started moving, Shirley, they had to do that red flag and stop the session.
These boats are not happy idling around, and we saw it in the final in Venice. One of the inverters tripped. You just want to keep it at pace, and the boats and the pilots have been waiting quite a long time here. Also very uncomfortable for the pilot. You know, they are in a tight carbon box. If you're not traveling fast, there's no air coming in there, and we can all see it's pretty lumpy. I would not want to be where they are for any length of time. It's pretty brutal. Yeah,
they're just getting obviously thrown around a little bit in those just as they sit in the water here. And so that's going to be the concern. And obviously they're looking to get, now that race bird has come to life. And I wonder if it wasn't just a trip like that, and now it has resolved itself. You could do a reset and be able to come out and get going again. And Vicky taking a look there, and we'll see whether they are going to just be able to resume this in short order here. It's good to see that that race bird moving.
Yeah, and I'm pleased that they waited, because it's not the pilot's fault that they've been there quite a long time, and pretty harsh to start the race without her. It takes about 40 seconds to reboot the whole system, so it very much looks like she's ready to go.
Yep, you can see has it under control, and get that grin by Lucas Ordonez looking back at the Ocean Club, giving a big wave.
The guy on the right is the GOAT of powerboat racing, Steve Curtis. He's coaching the pilots, and he's loving every moment.
So we have two GOATs that are involved here in E1. We have the GOAT of powerboating and the GOAT of American football.
We have a whole goat farm going on in the E1 series.
I like that, a goat farm. All right, well, we're just waiting to get word here about what will happen in terms of the timing for the restart here of this second semifinal. Again, Westbrook Racing there, and that all-red race bird, Team Checo as well, and Aoki Racing. And Aoki Racing, what I love for them is both of the pilots for Aoki Racing are Saudi Arabian, and so that boat done in the colors of the Saudi flag, and it's absolutely beautiful. And Saud Ahmed behind the wheel. Look at this, got the crowd forming here on the breaker wall to watch the action here in E1.
Slightly concerned by the Aoki boat here. It's not moving, which makes it pretty vulnerable.
All right, just getting word from race control. 1 minute to race start. 1 minute to race start. So I'm looking to see a little bit of wake trail here from all three. All right, here we go. Getting ready to go here. Once again, when we get to that 30-second mark is when they will start their run toward that start and finish line. Sarah Price underway here. She timed it really well for that first start, so now she's got to just repeat that process and see what she's going to be able to pull off here. All right, we are at 30 seconds. However, it looks to me like it may have been Saud Ahmed here for Aoki Racing, who jumped on it even before Sarah did. Let's see what happens. All three are making their run toward the line. Here we go, semi-final 2 start to get underway in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's Team Checo timing it to perfection. What a launch by Vicky Piria, and she gets the run early. Denny close watching and looking to see how this all plays out. But Vicky Piria, after having that bit of a delay, I think she was ready to get going here, and she just launched beautifully, Shirley.
Yeah, the other two boats slow. I mean, you know, slow to get going, not using the boost, just a little bit late, which is so hard, especially for Sarah Price in the outside lane.
Yeah, Sarah now, she was so impressive in her qualifying run, but that wide lane out there, one of the things that you have to be very careful about doing before you get into and or through that first corner is not to drift across a lane and impede anybody. And so if you get a start where you're fairly even alongside somebody and you're on the outside, you end up just having to run a much longer line. So now she's going to have to just put her head down. We've seen the speed, we've seen what she's capable of, and she's trying here to get to the inside of Saud Ahmed. That's a smart move if she can get that done. I'm looking to see whether, yeah, here she goes up onto the boost, and I think she wants to make sure she's inside of Saud for Aoki Racing, but here comes Saud on the boost as well, countering, and both of them in the process have closed up just a little bit on Vicky Piria for Team Checo, and she's out there a ways. Now I wonder if she's just trying to do what we were talking about, make that much longer smooth arc, give up the tight pivot turn, and just make it a little bit smoother with a longer run.
I think you're right, picking your way through the waves, trying to stay in the trough, keep the foils in water, not catching air, and she's done a lovely job here. Very smooth lap.
Yeah, and meanwhile Sarah has dropped off quite noticeably, and it may be because more it's Saud Ahmed who has closed up now noticeably on Vicky Piria, and he has done a great job here as they are now coming through, starting their second lap. And at the line, Saud now is only 3 seconds off of Vicky Piria, but Sarah Price has dropped another 5 seconds back, and she really has work to do here. And remember, they still have to do one of the long laps as well. Just hearing that noise of the water, the energy that is going through the foils and the boat, and of course the pilot as well. But right now, Vicky Piria, she's got to be really happy. She's got obviously no visibility problems, and you know, the smoothest water. She's not in anybody else's chop right now. And so the question is now here, Sarah, as you look at this view, what are you seeing from the water?
I love this view. It's exactly what the pilot is seeing. They're picking their way through the waves like you were on a surfboard, just trying to take the easiest route and keep the bottom of those foils firmly in the water to contain, to keep maximum lift. But beautiful, lovely steering here. Looking for the troughs, the easiest path all the way down. Nice job.
And on board, as we just saw some of the graphics with Vicky, she's doing a really nice job of managing the trim levels of the boat, keeping it there. But she has not been able to shake Saud Ahmed, and Saud is going for the long lap for Aoki Racing, and so does Sarah Price. Both of them want to get that done early here and just let things settle. And they've got to get around that long lap well, because the key here is, can Vicky build up about a 15-second lead while they're doing that long lap, because that would be enough to potentially keep her up front.
She's been pretty disappointed with her performance this season. Definitely thinks she could do a lot better, and came to here, I guess, with a real kind of punch, wanting to prove a point. And wow, she's having a great race. Yeah, she is.
She just turned a 1:55, 1 minute 55.294 second lap, and that's in race trim. That's not just pin it and go qualifying. That's doing a great job. And guess what? Her margin right now over Saud is 15+ seconds. So we have to see what she's going to be able to do. But Saud and Sarah, their last laps were both in the 2:08s. So, and again, that includes that long lap. And so that's sort of the differential here. And it's going to be fascinating to see, because the one thing you don't want is to come through your long lap, through what we call the merge, when you come back and be right in the other boat's weight. So this is going to be really, really crucial here for Saud in particular. Has an opportunity to do something here. We are figuring right now, based on timing, that long lap delta is about 15 additional seconds. So that's the margin. And right now, Vicky is up by 18.5. So it is Saud who is going to have that opportunity, and it'll be interesting to see when Vicky goes for that long lap. General consensus, and we certainly have seen this in both Jeddah and Venice, that generally you do that long lap if you're leading, if you can, on the last lap, just to build it as much as possible. And here we go. She is on that long lap right now. She decided to do it on the 3rd lap as opposed to the 4th. But the question is now, how close will that be at the merge? And she had plenty of time in hand, but she lost a little bit. She started that long lap. It had dropped down to about 11. And as a result, Saud Ahmed, he has completed a long lap. And we have a dead heat battle for the lead here coming up now to start the final lap. It is that close. This is what we'd love to see, Shirley. It is foil to foil action.
This is so good. It's quite long, that long lap.
Yes, it is.
It's taken a while, and it's proving really pivotal into the strategy. I mean, let's talk about Saud a little bit. He's a powerboat racer, 9 times Saudi Arabian jet ski champion. He's used to reading the water, and he seems to have just got better and better as this race has progressed. He looks pretty comfortable. Well,
again, from that shot we saw during qualifying, he just had a huge grin and just seemed to be enjoying every minute of this. And you got to love that. Now, in this south turn here, it's really a triple apex corner. If you were talking about road racing, you've got those 3 buoys, but they are a long way apart. And so you've got to really pick the right line around those smart marks. And look at him square that last one up. He wanted to get that racebird turned and on the boost like right now, didn't he?
Yeah, the boat will accelerate at its best and fastest if you're going straight. So you want to get that turn done and dusted and then get going.
Well, right now, the margins based on the sectors, it is Ahmed up by 4 seconds over Vicky Piria for Team Checo. And Westbrook Racing, Sarah Price, unfortunately back another 8 seconds. And both of them had nice laps on that last one, but it just not the distance that they wanted. Now, it looks as though Sarah, though, has closed it up. She has. She has trimmed that margin seriously now and is only 3 seconds adrift of Vicky Piria for Team Checo as they are coming around now to complete the final lap. Saud Ahmed has ballooned his margin up to almost 8 seconds. It has been an absolutely superb, not just run in terms of speed for him, but strategy. Here he comes to the line, up through that finish line, and you can hear the whoops coming from the Ocean Club. Checker flag out, and Saud Ahmed for Aoki Racing getting a tremendous, and what a lap he turned on that last one, at 153 flat. Boy, and you can see Sarah just catching, and we talked about that. You catch one of those swells just wrong, and the whole dynamic changes. So it is Aoki Racing in the hands of Saud Ahmed with a 7-second win over Vicky Piria for Team Checo, and Westbrook Racing coming home in 3rd with Sarah Price. And what a run that was. And for Aoki Racing, they started in lane 1. So we're hopefully going to be able to chat with Saud here, and I hope we get a little bit of that energy, that joy he seemed to be showing already here. And man, what a, I mean, that last lap, Saud set fastest sectors across the board, and a rocket fast 53 flat. That is a really good run.